Hello, welcome to this update for the U.S and Canada about the winter storm coming and some severe weather and stuff. So let's see. First, some warnings. We do have now some cold weather advisories already. Parts of North Dakota and Montana. We have some lake effect snow warnings near New York and some parts of Pennsylvania and Ohio, and also some winter storm warnings northern New York and Vermont. There's also some scared winter weather advisories near Idaho, some parts of northern Utah and Iowa, Illinois, and some parts of the Northeast as well. Some frost advisories near Georgia and Florida, and some winter storm watches in Montana there, and Kansas, those areas. And some wind advisories in the Northeast now, some winter storm warnings near like southern Wyoming, Colorado, and western Wyoming, and some wind warnings southeastern Wyoming. Some high surf advisories in Hawaii as well, some cold weather advisories in Alaska too. But this changes all the time, be aware. The link is in the description. Now, in Canada, we do have some warnings across some parts of the southeast and more across the northwest there. So let's see in Alberta. First, some extreme cold warnings in all of those areas there. So there's extremely cold wind chills of -4 or colder are expected overnight and early Thursday morning. Temperatures will rise slightly on Thursday, but extreme cold wind chills values may return overnight to Friday. So be careful in those areas, those wind chills, so shows in those areas of Alberta there. But it will be very cold even outside those areas. So be careful. In Newfoundland shows some more special weather statements for significant snowfall, rainfall, and strong winds are expected, and higher than normal water levels and large waves are expected near parts of the coast. Location most of Newfoundland. Early Sunday until Monday morning. So yeah, be aware. We'll monitor that. And some other areas, wind warnings already. So be careful. And into Labrador, some areas, there's also a wind warning or two there, and more special weather statements. So be careful. Now for Northwestern Territories, the extreme cold. There's show multi-day episode of very cold wind chills expected. Wind chill values might be near -50 at times. Conditions are expected to improve on Monday. Extreme cold puts everyone at risk. Please be careful. And then now, Nunavut, some extreme cold and blizzard warnings, some towns there. So be careful. Blizzard ending this afternoon. Sustained blizzard conditions at Naujat this morning are going to 90 km per hour. Wind will start to diminish throughout the day, and blizzard will ease in the afternoon. But please be careful. Some extremely hazardous travel conditions and everything. So in Ontario, there's some snow squall warnings, snow squall watches, some winter weather advisories. So there's lake effect snow squalls possible beginning this morning. So this mainly for the lake effect. Be careful. So lake effect squalls expected, and some winter weather advisories in effect. Locally heavy snowfall to 5 to 10 centimeters, reduced visibility, cold continuing tonight into Thursday. So be aware, more snow squall warnings there in all those locations. Quebec, some blizzard warnings in the north, some rainfall warnings, snowfall warnings in the south and east. So be careful that blizzard warning in the north. And that shows some winter storm warnings there as well. Potential winter storm, significant snowfall amounts, blowing snow and high winds are possible. Some locations there. Winter weather advisory, blowing snow possible Thursday evening. So stay safe there. And Yukon, the extreme cold warning in Old Crow, wind chill values near -50 at times. So please be careful. And here in Ontario, the snow squall warnings near the lake there shows those special weather statements, winter storm warnings, some spots of eastern Quebec, and northern Quebec, those blizzard warnings. So be careful. Does show like western Quebec's potential winter storm watch. So stay safe, and this link is in the description for more information. So let's see here, just for the next 3 days. So there shows some potential freezing rain near Washington, Oregon today. Some general snow like from Washington to Nebraska, and from Nebraska to Maine. Those areas in white. Some potential snow, potential heavy snow near New York and Pennsylvania, and northern Vermont. So be careful, especially near the Great Lakes. You saw what happened 1 month ago with the lake effect. So be careful. Shows some mixed vegetation the northwest, and like day 2 shows more freezing potential Washington, Oregon, and into Idaho. It shows some more snow in Montana to South Dakota, North Dakota, and potentially some heavy one in central Montana. So be careful. Some more snow like central New York, there in the lakes, West Virginia as well. Some snow there for day 2, Friday. So into Saturday, the real thing starts. Shows a big area of freezing rain from Kansas to Tennessee, some heavier snow in Nebraska, Missouri, and Kansas into southern Iowa. It shows more like storms to the south of that, and some heavy snow still in Montana, and some snow from the plains to the Rockies. Some mixed vegetation in the northwest still shows New York, some lake effects, and some snow in northern Michigan. So be aware. We'll keep monitoring this one out for the heavy rain. Does show until 12 Cs, so heavy rain in Oregon, Northern California. Day 1 still Oregon, California, so be careful. There's some small flash flood potential. Day 2 for Saturday, for Friday actually, still shows more rain there, especially near the Sierra Nevada and on the coast there in California and Oregon. So stay safe. Day 3 nothing. Day 4 in the south from Louisiana to Tennessee, and day 5 nothing. So stay safe. Now for, instead of showing this, let's show this one that already has freezing rain and everything. So it does show the snowfall probabilities today, high across those areas, New York into Vermont and the Northeast, some across Illinois and Ohio and Iowa. Those areas show some in the Rockies there, like Wyoming, some spots Colorado in the Northwest. It does show some very high snowfall probabilities today there in eastern Canada to Quebec and those areas, and also some in British Columbia. Now for Friday, later still shows there on the east, and also the lake effect still, like Pennsylvania, New York, into Ontario, more lake effect, even to northern Michigan. So be careful, West Virginia and those areas. It shows more like the northwest, and snow still. Into Saturday, still shows the Appalachians and some spots the northeast into eastern Canada, and more in the northwest. Later into Saturday, the show this until Saturday, not into Saturday. So shows more like West Virginia still, some spots of Pennsylvania and Ohio, especially to New York, and more the northwest and southwestern Canada. Further into Saturday, does show more higher probabilities across Montana and Idaho, especially like central northern Washington to British Columbia, so higher probabilities into southern Alberta, and then does show still like in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, in New York, and those areas there, and the lake effect in Ontario. So later still shows a big area in Montana and Sunday. So this is the 24-hour probability. So like Sunday shows still Montana, later shows that, and Sunday still shows again into the plains there. So be aware. Now for freezing rain, does show Washington, Oregon there, those areas. So be aware. Later, like ending 0 Saturday, shows more there Washington, Oregon, Idaho. So beware. until 60, 12 is Saturday, 18 is Saturday, already starts showing up in Kansas and Oklahoma, and still in the Northwest, those areas until Sunday, and some higher values in Kansas, and still some the Northwest. Later Sunday in the plains still shows ice, and then later Sunday shows like from Kansas to Tennessee, more freezing rain. So be careful. And for rain, still shows day one today, Thursday, higher in Northern California there. So be careful. And some other parts, the Northwest, close to like 4 inches or more. Southern Oregon shows like near Ohio, Kentucky, in those areas, some showers, might be some snow too. Day two more the Northwest, some on the east, might be a mix of rain and snow. Day three shows in the plains already, and more there in the Northwest. Day four goes east, more rain there. Day five, some on the east, some on the west. Day six shows more like southern Texas, some spots to the southwestern plains, high plains, and then shows day seven somewhere in the north there. Still some rain, Texas shows. But day 1 through 7 shows the higher accumulations in the northwest there, and some parts central, mid-south. So be aware. Let's update this to see some news here. So they do say winter storm potential increasing. There's a growing confidence that significant winter weather event will begin later this week. Winter weather impacts will begin the central plains by late Saturday, Ohio and Tennessee valleys on Sunday, and mid-Atlantic region by next week. Widespread heavy snow possible at areas central plains and Mississippi Valley, especially along north of Interstate 70, may experience some heavy snow for the chance 60 to 80%, at least 6 inches of snow, and significant icing potential in the mid-south. Further south, there are concerns about potential significant sleet and freezing rain affecting Kansas and the Ozarks, which may extend eastward into the Tennessee and lower Ohio valleys this week, and some icing may also occur parts southern Appalachian Sunday. Additional forecast changes are anticipated, so we'll keep monitoring this event and watching for changes. But be aware, they do have this experimental snowfall accumulation next 66 hours or something. So there, New York, they do have an area of 36 inches potentially there in New York because of the lake effect. So please be careful there. Stay safe from those snow squalls. Shows the same thing in Pennsylvania. Not that much, but show an area close to 30 inches. And in Ohio, some more shows some snow West Virginia, and across the Rockies there in Colorado, some spots to 18 inches, 20 inches. Shows some in the Sierra Nevada, more Montana, between Wyoming there, close to 18 inches, and Washington, some scattered snow in Idaho, central northern Utah. Shows more in Oregon, some higher spots in the mountains in Washington, even close like 36 inches, some higher spots. So be careful. And now for like, let's see what they have for winter storm severity index now. Of course, will change, it's just now, but that shows some extreme in New York, right? Because of the snow load, snowfall amount, shows more some Pennsylvania too, and some scared areas are moderate along the west. So be careful there. Now for general forecast here for this event. So still shows the system there in the northeast and to eastern Canada with the snow, so be careful there. Now the GFS, the system in the northwest, and the GFS show like snow and freezing rain, especially northern Oregon, some freezing rain. So be careful there. The snow not way from Washington to Montana, and the lake effect on the east. So does show there starting late Saturday to Sunday, shows more sleet and freezing rain into like Kansas and Missouri. Still shows no Washington and Oregon, shows more like scared snow, some parts of the Rockies and the plains. So this goes, and later into Sunday shows some heavier snow there from Kansas to Kentucky, and more ice and freezing rain from like Missouri and Illinois and those areas, and also Kansas still, and more rain in the south. Most likely some severe weather there, Texas, those areas. So this goes into Sunday. Still some storms in the Gulf, just south of it, and some heavier snow from like Nebraska to West Virginia, even into Virginia. So still more icing and sleet near like from southern Illinois to Virginia. This coast still shows some freezing rain on the east, but mainly snow on the mid-Atlantic and rain, and it goes away. And still, after that, on the 9th, the GFS is like some weird freezing rain all the way down to like Louisiana and some snow that goes there, and later the GFS more snow on the northwest in the 11th and more stuff later. But that's far out. There's like the European here shows the snow the northwest now. That doesn't show as much freezing rain, but it does show snow. Let's see if it's up there. So here shows the system in eastern Canada now that the heavy snow and the lake effect those areas, and then it starts showing the sleet and freezing rain late Saturday into Sunday in parts of Kansas and Missouri. So be careful. Shows even more in just southern Illinois and Kentucky, and like even just West Virginia and Virginia there, and the blue, the heavy snow from Kansas to Virginia, and even like in Maryland, Delaware, shows more snow on the 6th there, and still some freezing rain, and the storms on the Gulf there, just south of it. So please be aware in those areas of this event coming, and later still shows some snow lingering the northwest and more stuff later. So be aware. There's also the Canadian model shows the freezing rain and snow Washington, Oregon, and shows there late Saturday into Sunday, the sleet and freezing rain and snow into Kansas and Nebraska, more freezing rain into Missouri, and it increases later, shows some heavier snow and heavier ice in like southernmost Ohio, especially to Kentucky. The Canadian has more like into North Carolina, some too, and Virginia. This goes still snow on the mid-Atlantic, and it goes away. In the Canadian, still some weird ideas like the GFS with freezing rain, Texas and Louisiana later. So be aware. And now for like, yeah, the temperatures. Let's see if there's any updates. So it's already cold, and the cold wave is still coming. So shows already those below average temperatures in many parts of the east, and also the plains. Those areas shows on the 4th. So today's the 2nd, so on the 4th shows very much below average temperatures there on the east. But on the 6th, that show that's diving down into the plains, some very much below average temperatures there, like a very big cold wave. This is the Canadian model. Shows also the northeast, some below average. So this goes, and this is the actual event. Shows like the 7th, much of the U.S. except some spots on the west, much below average temperature, especially on the southeast and those areas there. Shows also the plains and those areas. This goes, and this on the 8th, show like very much below average temperature near like South Dakota, Minnesota, into Nebraska, North Dakota, and Iowa. So we'll try to check the temperatures for this, but it might be very cold. This goes, and still the Canadian strong on the 9th, so very much below average temperatures on the southeast. So yeah, be aware. But that's just one model. Now the European already shows the below average as well. Shows there on the 4th, on the southeast, much below average. Then this goes and also shows on the plains there on the 5th, very below average dives down, and on the 7th, most of the eastern U.S., especially the southeast, and on the 8th, it doesn't show that on the northern plains like the Canadian, but it does show much below average on the eastern southeast on the 9th. And now on the 12th, the European showing a crazy burst on the southeast of below average, and even more later, as you can see on the 13th, shows more another cold wave in Canada, then it goes into the plains. But this might change. It's just one model run. So the GFS shows that those below average temperatures. It goes on the 4th, shows stronger in the southeast, much below average, and then on the 5th and the 6th on the plains shows the cold wave diving into the plains. This goes on the 7th, does show much as central and eastern US, the cold wave. Then it goes and shows like much below average on the 11th on the south and southeast there, and some small cold waves later. So be aware those areas. Now for the snowfall from the European model, it does show there across Quebec and those areas the heavier snow on the east from the system, so be careful there. And this shows there into Friday are more snow in Quebec, and still some northern Maine and Vermont, and show like northern Colorado too, and western Wyoming, so be aware. More in Idaho, especially central Idaho, the European is showing. And by late Friday, it shows some very high totals in central Quebec into Ontario. So this shows more Montana until Saturday, so be careful. Central Idaho, some higher totals too. Then it shows all the way to like 15, 16 inches central Idaho, some 8 to 12 inches Montana. So this goes there and shows in the plains there the event until Tuesday the 7th shows close to like 24, no, not 24, like 22 to 24 inches in Kansas and West Virginia. Those areas shows some higher like 25 inches in New York or something. The other model from the National Weather Service had like 36 inches in New York. This one shows close to 30 and shows more the northwest, some the Sierra Nevada too. And until the 9th, show more like New Mexico, the northern plains again, and more later. Some very crazy totals in Quebec and those areas. So yeah, be aware. Now the GFS for some freezing rain, but first the snow shows there. This is until the 13th. That's too far. So just until the 10th shows from Kansas to Delaware. That's snow there. So beware. Even more than 20 inches between Kansas and Missouri. Shows more there, even southern Texas, that weird thing, but the information might change. And shows more the northwest as well. Some spots central western Canada, but especially eastern Canada in Quebec, some very high totals, and some odd areas. So be aware. Now the freezing accumulation does show there in Kansas, Missouri, shows as some higher values in Missouri and into like southern Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, especially like West Virginia and Virginia. The GFS is the weird freeze rain like in Louisiana, Mississippi, but that might not happen. We'll still see about that. But please be careful those areas, and shows some northern Oregon as well, some areas of Washington. So be careful that ice and freezing rain later there. So now, let's see, some fire danger still shows the elevated in Southern California for today, Thursday, so be careful there. And still Friday, no areas. But like for here, for the severe weather, shows no thunderstorms today, day one, no, this day 2. So day 2 still doesn't show any thunderstorms. Day 3, we start having the system there in the plains, shows some storms already near like Kansas or Oklahoma in Texas, but some very mild storms, no severe weather. But day 4, the real thing starts. So shows in like East Texas, to Louisiana, and Mississippi, and Arkansas, and Tennessee, and Alabama, a slight risk on day 4. This for Sunday, 15% there. Shows like medium range guidance is in good agreement that a shortwave trough will extend from western central US into Texas. Hill country on day 4, Sunday morning, and as you can see here as well, the trough digging down there into Texas, and the severe weather in front of it. So here, and the shortwave then forecast to progress northeastward throughout the day, likely reaching mid-Mississippi Valley to day 5 Monday morning. Associated with surface low move just ahead of apparent shortwave, with attended cold fronts sweeping eastward across East Texas, lower Mississippi Valley. A warm center characterized by low to mid 60 dew points will proceed this front, which should be enough for the modest buoyancy and relative warm profile lapse rates. Thunderstorm developments anticipated along the front, with potential for isolated discrete storms front to the front as well. Moderate to strong mid-level flow will extend across the warm sector, resulting in deep layer of vertical shears strong enough to support organized storms, and 0 to 6 km bulk shear, 4 to 50 knots. General expectation for the development of fast-moving convective line with strong severe gusts along the cold front, supported by modest buoyancy, deep layer shear, and shear orthogonal to the front, strengthening to low-level flow, 50 to 60 knots and 800 millibars, could support enough low-level shear for line embedded circulation as well. Some thunderstorms remain possible across the southeast on Monday, day 5, and as the front goes eastward. However, limited low-level moisture ahead of the front should limit severe thunderstorm threat. So be careful there Sunday, the day 4, and day 5 still doesn't show anything. So be aware. Now for some short range temperatures, and then we'll check the long range, some models. So still shows some 60s in the south for today Thursday, some single digits in the north there still, even during the days, some 30s the northeast. Then tonight into Friday, the does show already some 30s digging down to northern Florida and central Texas as well, and shows some -6, like -7 the north there, North Dakota, Montana, some teens and 20s in the Rockies, but especially those high elevations, Wyoming, could get easily like some 1, 2 Fahrenheit, 3 Fahrenheit high elevations. So be careful. Show some 30s the northeast, so some 20s the Midwest, the Appalachians, and some 20s the mountains, the west, and northern Washington, some teens. So be aware. Friday afternoon does show still very cold, some -3 in North Dakota, still Montana, some teens and 20s, colder across the high elevations of the west, but not all of them, especially like shows colder Colorado, Wyoming, the Sierra Nevada, Washington, some parts of Idaho, Montana, and does show some 20s even during the day throughout the Midwest, and into like the northeast, some 30s. Then from Friday night to Saturday morning, shows all the way to -13 in the north, and even further north than that, it might be like -14 or something, and shows some 30s and 20s on the east, all the way down to northern Florida, and some 20s and teens in the mountains there, like New Mexico, Colorado, into Wyoming, shows some 20s and 30s in Nevada as well, and Washington, Oregon, spot California, some 20s and teens the northeast, So be careful that cold to the north, some 8, 7 Fahrenheit. The wind chills might be even colder. It will be colder. And for Saturday during the day, does show all the way to some high 70s, southern Texas, some Saturdays in Florida, and southern Arizona and California. Does show some like some -4 still in the north during the day, some 7, 12 Fahrenheit, some 20s, some parts of the Midwest and some the northeast, some teens and 20s, and still cold. Most of the mountains on the west. Now, day 3, minimum temperatures, does show from so before was Thursday night to Saturday, no, Thursday night to Friday morning. So day 3 minimum temperatures now, Friday night to Saturday morning. So sorry for the mistake before. So around Friday morning does show all the way to like -14 still the north, so it's a -10, -1. So be careful there. Some 14. 12, 17 Fahrenheit, some spots of the east, especially in the Appalachians, some teens and single digits in New England. So be careful, some 20s, 30s, and teens along the Rockies, those areas, and still some 60s, southern Texas. Day 4 does show like single digits in the north still, so like 11, 15 Fahrenheit. That's like teens, but further north colder during the day on Sunday. It shows more like some 20s and 30s, the Midwest still, and some low teens, the Northeast, and some 20s, and cold in the Rockies too. And then like Saturday night to Sunday morning shows the cold digging down strongly. So like -10, North Dakota, some -2, some -1, some 3 degrees, 8 degrees in Kansas, some 20s Central Texas, and some like -5, some -6 Montana and Minnesota. And in the Northeast, like 1, -1 Fahrenheit, some 7, 2 Fahrenheit, some teens and 20s further south, the mid-Atlantic, and some like 20s, some teens, some spots of the west as well. So be careful. Now, Monday during the day, the 6th, those 30s and 20s, the northern plains, the Midwest, and the Northeast, some teens, but the northern plains, so like 2, 6 Fahrenheit, 0 Fahrenheit. So be careful. Cold across the high elevations as well, and the higher go, the colder it gets. So be careful, like Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, those very high spots. Colder in Idaho, Washington as well, and northern Utah and some areas there. Still some 70s in Florida and southernmost Arizona. So be aware now. From like Sunday night to Monday morning. So this is weird because before I said Monday during the day, but now I said Sunday night to Monday morning. This is weird, but let's just follow this and see what happens. So on Monday morning, does show so like -12, -13 the north still. It's like some -4, some -1, all the way down to Iowa and Nebraska. Some things in the Northeast as well, and some 30s, low 30s, all the way down to Louisiana, and some like very cold in Wyoming, those areas, some like some low teens in single digits, the mountains, and like in Colorado as well, Montana, very cold, some -6, and across the northern Midwest and the east, so like teens as well, and 20s in the mid-Atlantic, and some spots in the southeast. So be careful there. Just a little bit closer in the north central. Does show all the like -14 the north, some -9, -13. So yeah, be careful those areas. Now day 6 maximum temperatures. So now shows Tuesday during the day. So they changed this, I think, because it showed like Tuesday during the day and then Tuesday night to Wednesday morning. But now it shows Tuesday during the day and to Monday night to Tuesday morning. So they changed the order here. So let's see. So Tuesday during the day. Day 6 does show still so single digits on the north there, so like 10, 9 Fahrenheit, some 20s, the Midwest, some 30s as well, but some teens and 20s in the northeast, and still very cold the high elevations there. So the day 6 minimum temperatures from Monday night to Tuesday morning does show some low 30s all the way to northern Florida. It's like minus 11, minus 14, the extreme north, some like 0 Fahrenheit all the way down to Missouri, shows some 12, 10, 9, 6 Fahrenheit, some spots in the northeast, so very cold, some 17, 18 Fahrenheit, some areas there, some 20s along the coast, like New York, New Jersey. It shows like very cold in Wyoming, Colorado. Some high elevations. Colorado could be close like minus 10 Fahrenheit or even more. So be careful. Some teens and 20s all the way down to New Mexico and Central Texas, some 30s. So be careful those areas. Now for day 7, they don't have it still. So here the 48-hour snowfall shows there the northwest, more like in Wyoming, western southern Wyoming, Colorado, some higher totals, more like in Idaho, central Montana, western Montana, and Washington, and that's a glitch there in West Virginia. It won't be that much snow. That's a glitch, but that shows some more snow there too. It shows more like New York, those oranges close to even 30, 36 inches or something. Shows more there, some areas. So be aware. Let's see they have something for freezing rain. 24 hours in the next 24 hours. They do have some freeze rain like northern Oregon to Washington, so be careful there. And the 24-hour max wind gusts does show more in Maine and New Hampshire, close like 70, 65 mile per hour gusts, more Wyoming, Colorado, some 50 to like 660 or something mile per hour gusts. So stay safe, and some high spots on the west there. So be careful. Now for the outlooks, let's see they change something. Day 8, day 6 to 10, they do have much below average temperatures along the east and southeast. There's some above average on the north, on the west. And still day 8 through 14 is very much below average on the east there, and so slightly below average on the plains and some areas in the southeast. So beware, precipitation shows day 6 to 10 somewhat above average in the high plains, central plains into the south and southeast, and some spots mid-south and the northeast below average. That shows some much below average across the west. The day 8 through 14, that shows still some below average, some spots central US and the west and the northwest, and northeast, yeah, but the northwest as well. And that shows some above average, some parts of the plains there into the Rockies in the south. So be aware. Now before we check some models, let's just see some wind gusts, the European model now for Thursday. So still shows like in Canada some very high gusts in Newfoundland, especially western Newfoundland, those areas. So stay safe. That winds somewhat windier in Quebec because of that system. Shows like more Thursday there. Later today into Friday shows some higher gusts in southeastern Quebec, those areas there, and more like central Quebec, and does show like in Newfoundland still some high gusts. I think into southern Labrador and eastern Quebec as well, and shows Thursday to Friday there. Nova Scotia, some more gusts into Friday, so be careful into Saturday. Does show the Great Lakes, some higher gusts there, and more in Ontario, especially northern Ontario shows those higher gusts potential. Some spots not northern Quebec, so higher gusts too. This coast there shows the crazy big system Newfoundland, Saint Pierre and Miquelon, shows all the 2A to like 115 zones the European has, but this might change. The GFS is just 63, but the GFS is like 106 just north of it, and the I was like 109 zones. So yeah, be careful. This is Sunday the 5th, a very concerning system in terms of wind. Shows more like in Labrador and Eastern Quebec, northern Nova Scotia. That shows some very high gusts. Sunday, this goes there, and on the 8th, on Wednesday, shows more there, like sunspots in the ocean near Quebec and Labrador, and start showing there on the west because of the system in Alaska. Shows some very high gusts in Yukon. The mountains start spreading to like sunspots in northwestern territories and Yukon, some high gusts and sunspots British Columbia, and also on the coast there, British Columbia on the 7th shows higher, and on the 8th shows this field of higher gusts there, like from northwestern territories to southern Alberta and the mountains, some spots of Yukon still, and the 8th this goes there, does like Saskatchewan, Alberta, slightly gustier, and then dives south there into the U.S. And then later on the 10th, they show a very big system into Alaska again, and like northwestern, not British Columbia, some high gusts, southern Yukon as well. The 10th, this goes there. Now it's showing like some very high gusts into like some parts of northwestern territories, Yukon, more widespread, and also northern northwestern territories, more in Alberta, some spots Saskatchewan, those areas. And later shows even more to central Canada on the 11th, and more stuff later, but that's far out. Let's see now here for miles per hour. So today, Thursday, shows some high gusts in New Hampshire, Vermont, some in New York and Massachusetts, even the Appalachians. Shows later today, this goes there. Into early Friday, still Maine and New Hampshire, slightly higher, and New York. So later Friday still shows some higher gusts in Maine, and the Appalachians, some spots there. So beware. But Friday too shows still some like early on Friday between Oregon and California, shows slightly higher in the Rockies as well, and those areas Friday this goes there, shows higher sunspots of Eastern California, Nevada. This goes and like shows some, the system starts forming on Saturday there, so slightly higher gusts in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, but some very high gusts is showing in New Mexico, some 50s mile per hour, close to 60s southern Colorado, and like northeastern Arizona and New Mexico, show like into Utah, those areas, Wyoming. So beware Saturday, and then the system forms more into Sundays, so higher gusts in the plains, the higher gusts plus that snow and the freezing rain. You might want to watch out some blowing snow. Shows some like the severe weather, some higher gusts there as well. The front, Tennessee into Sunday, shows higher sunspots, southern Appalachians, late into Sunday and early into Monday, like Tennessee, North Carolina, and Alabama. Shows more there in Arkansas. So Monday still shows a little bit higher in the Appalachians on the 6th. This goal starts getting weird in California. So high gusts, the Sierra Nevada is now showing in Nevada the 7th, and now on January 8th, the Europeans showing some insane gusts there in the Sierra Nevada, like 71 mile per hour gusts, some higher Santa Ana winds as well, like Southern California. Some areas shows more like Nevada, shows central Utah, some spots Wednesday this goes. Now the European model showing just north of Los Angeles 72 mile per gust late on the 8th, like southernmost California as well, shows to Arizona, some areas there, and the Sierra Nevada even close to like 73 mile per gust. So and that thing into northern Montana on the 8th as well, and even breezier in the northeast. So this goes there. Still shows some very crazy gusts on the 9th, a little bit higher gusts central northern plains there on the 9th, and on the northeast on the 9th as well. The 10th, that doesn't show much, maybe on the northwest or in the northern plains on the 11th, but we'll check that later. But be careful, those high gusts and everything, and be aware that now for the temperatures in Canada, so very cold there still, and like those minus 44 degrees Celsius, so also some minus 30 in Nunavut. Quebec and Ontario, some negative temperatures too. Saskatchewan and Alberta, some minus 20s already, so stay safe there. That dives down even further to like southern Saskatchewan, some minus 30 and some minus 31. Into northern Yukon, those areas to like minus 44 degrees Celsius, and more like into northern British Columbia, very cold as well, northwestern territories. So Friday into Saturday the 4th shows all the way to southern Manitoba, so minus 32 degrees Celsius. And be mindful of the wind chills, might be close to minus 35, minus 40 or something. So stay safe, shows in Nunavut, more areas there. And then shows Saturday into Sunday, more Manitoba and Ontario, still northwestern territories and Yukon, like minus 41 in Nunavut. So please stay safe there. Alberta, British Columbia, especially northern Alberta. This goes into Monday the 6th, still very, very cold there, especially like northwestern territories into Nunavut. Shows like into northern Manitoba and Alberta, very, very cold. And the southeast remains close to average, some minus 10, some minus 12, some spots there in Quebec, colder in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia too. Monday the 6th, this goes there and shows the cold air diving down all the way to Ontario on the 8th, so like minus 30, some minus 31, some minus 40 in Nunavut, in Quebec as well. So yeah, stay safe, those areas. The show still on the 9th there, so stay safe. Now shows like here for some 2-meter temperature. So this isn't the actual temperature, but it's an estimation in 2 meters. So this the European model shows here. Wait. So here. So now it shows there. This is in Fahrenheit. Across North Dakota, those minus 13, 14, and on the 4th, the European solid much more like minus 17 to minus 20, minus 16 on Monday. Then this goes, that shows some minus 6 all the way down to Missouri. This is a little bit different from the temperatures the National Weather Service that I showed you, but yeah, so this goes, and into Thursday the 9th, the Europeans like all the way to minus 20 northern Minnesota. This goes has like some 30s into Florida too, and into like Ohio, West Virginia, some minus 5 on the 11th, and still showing late on the 11th the northern plains in those areas. Now the GFS shows here. Let's see if it loads. So here. So for Friday the 3rd, still very cold. Shows out it's like minus 15 the north, so minus 16. And into Saturday, the GFS like minus 20, although it's minus 26 the GFS has. That's way different from the forecast I showed you before. But who knows, it might change there. So this goes on Sunday, shows minus 16 still. And there's the very cold air mass in like Alberta and Manitoba, still like minus 35. This goes down on like Tuesday, so to minus 19. Shows other minus 21 on Tuesday. This shows other like minus 6 in Kansas, some 30s, 20s in the southeast. This goes there on the 9th, still show like minus 22 North Dakota or something. So be careful, the northeast shows very cold, and the GFS like minus 14 on the 11th in Missouri. Another it's like minus 19. That's kind of crazy. That might not happen, but just be aware, and still shows very cold later. So be careful those areas. Now for here, the wind chills does show like Friday, or it's like minus 25 wind chills, like minus 27. It shows wind chills all the way down to like minus 33 North Dakota. This goes minus 35 on Saturday. Shows like all the way to like 4 minus 3 wind chills Oklahoma and Kansas, all the way to like minus 12. This goes there showing minus 31 wind chills on the 7th, minus 34 North Dakota. This goes show all the way to like minus 25 wind chills in Kansas, and show like some 30s, 20s wind chills the southeast. The 9th still show like minus 32 wind chills Minnesota, North Dakota on the 10th there. But this is just a model, it might change still. So be aware, but just stay safe there through the cold and everything in the winter storm. And sorry for speaking too much, but hopefully that everyone will stay safe. So just one more thing, because I always forget this, and it's kind of important as well. The fog, because especially the southeast, some areas on these cold mornings shows some fog on the west. On the afternoon it disappears, but some days show like more in Texas, some of the plains, some fog and rain. And yeah, so stay safe too.